One man stood against the most feared empire on earth, and even the Bible mentions him by name. But here's the part no one tells you. He wasn't from Rome. He wasn't from Greece. He was from Africa. This was Taharqa, king of Kush, and he would face the Assyrians at the height of their power. At that time, the Assyrian Empire was unstoppable. They didn't just win wars. They erased civilizations. Cities burned to the ground. Entire populations deported. Kings humiliated, then replaced. When the Assyrians marched, the world didn't resist. It collapsed, and now they were moving toward Jerusalem. The city was defenseless. Its allies were gone. Its fate already written. Or at least, it should have been, because at that exact moment, a new player entered the story, Taharqa. But here's what the Assyrians didn't understand. This wasn't just another king. He came from a kingdom that had already done the impossible. Far to the south, beyond Egypt, lay Kush. And Kush hadn't just survived history. It had conquered Egypt itself. Let that sink in. An African empire, ruling the Nile, controlling one of the greatest civilizations on earth. This was the world Taharqa was born into. Power wasn't something he chased. It was something he inherited. And while Assyria expanded through fear, Kush expanded through strength. Gold, armies, monuments. Two empires on a collision course. And then they met on a battlefield near Elteke. This wasn't just a war. This was a test of whether anyone on earth could stand against Assyria. Steel crashed. Arrows filled the sky. And in the chaos of it all, Taharqa led from the front, not behind walls, not from a distance. He was there, facing the most dangerous army of his time. The Assyrians pushed forward, like they always did, relentless, unstoppable. Jerusalem was within reach, victory inevitable. And then something happened, not a final battle, not a decisive clash. Something else. Ancient records describe it, but never fully explain it. An army collapsing, tens of thousands gone, almost overnight. No clear enemy, no final strike, just silence, and then retreat. The Assyrians pulled back. Jerusalem survived. Some called it divine intervention. Others say disease, or something lost to time. But one fact remains. Taharqa was there, and the most feared empire on earth stopped. And for a moment, the unstoppable empire met something it couldn't break. But this is where most people get the story wrong, because they think this was the end. It wasn't. It was only the beginning, because Assyria didn't forget, and they didn't forgive. Years later, they came back, stronger, more ruthless, more determined than ever. But this time, they didn't aim for Jerusalem. They aimed for Egypt. City after city fell. Resistance collapsed. And then Memphis, the heart of Egyptian power, gone. Taharqa fought. But this time, the balance had changed. Even kings who challenge empires don't always win twice. He was forced south, back into Kush. For most rulers, this is where history ends. Defeat, exile, silence. But Taharqa did something different. He didn't disappear. He transformed. Deep in Kushite lands, some began to rise. Pyramids, but not the ones you're thinking of. Sharper, steeper, unmistakably different. They weren't copies of Egypt. They were a message. We are still here, still powerful, still independent, still building while others fall. While empires in the north fought endless wars, Kush endured. And Taharqa's story became something bigger than victory or defeat. He became a king who stood against the unstoppable and lived to redefine what power meant. A ruler whose name crossed continents and even entered the Bible. And yet today, most people have never heard of him. Not because he wasn't important, but because history doesn't always remember evenly. A king who stood against the most feared empire on earth, who ruled Egypt, who changed the course of a war recorded in the Bible, reduced to a footnote, or nothing at all. So ask yourself, if a man like that can disappear from what we're taught, what else is missing? What else has been rewritten, simplified, or quietly left out? Because empires don't just fight on battlefields. They shape memory. They decide what gets remembered and what fades. And sometimes The most powerful stories aren't the ones we learn, but the ones we never hear. And this is one of them. This wasn't forgotten. It was erased.